Hi everybody, welcome to my channel. My name is Grace. If you're new here, welcome. And if you are coming back, welcome back. I'm so blessed that you're here. I have a very special guest here with me today. If you have followed my channel for a while or you follow our podcast, Enneanerds, then you will probably know who this is. This is my best friend, Bethany. Hi. We have been friends
we met when we were like 28.
Yeah. So I can't say like we've been best friends since we were 5 years old.
Haven't.
We met in our late 20s.
Yes.
But we've gone through very challenging and wonderful
arguably some of the
times.
hardest years of our lives.
Yeah.
At the same time.
Yeah. And so it was really neat that the Lord brought us together in our late 20s.
Mm-hmm.
We met, I think I was 27.
I
or 27 too.
Yeah, we're the same age.
Yeah, same age. So anyway, our idea for our video today is we each made a list of 5 things that we wish we could have told our younger selves.
Mm-hmm. We are now very old.
Yes.
We are 32. So
we are seasoned and wise.
we are.
But we do
gone through some stuff.
Yeah, we have gone through some stuff, and we do. Not saying that we're ridiculously wise, but we do deeply talk about things, and we're very into the Enneagram, which I think is a very useful tool if you use it properly. So this is something we talk about a lot.
A lot, yes.
And she has taught me many, many wise things.
Grace hasn't taught me anything.
No, she's the wise one. I'm
just
the
kidding.
gooky one. No, I don't know if I have.
No. You absolutely have.
Okay, so that's enough of an introduction. Let's jump in.
When we were talking about this idea for this episode, we were thinking about like things we wanted to just tell our younger selves and just pieces of advice that we would like to speak to a younger generation. We feel like Gen Z, Gen Alpha, like they have it rough.
Yeah.
They have it rough. And so we would like to impart our wisdom as millennials, to you guys. So my first bit of advice that I wish I could tell my younger self is to practice self-kindness. And this is something that I'm just now like starting to do. And if I had started doing this younger when I was 20 and 21, I feel like I could be like, I don't know, evolved into a full adult. Like, I don't know. Like, I just feel like it'd be so good. And so like the way you do that is you say kind things to yourself. And we've talked about like making a self-love list and just things you like about yourself. And I feel like that's so helpful because it starts to change your mindset on like, instead of pointing out negative things about yourself, you're pointing out positive things.
Yeah.
And then the second one, which is really hard for me to do, is to let people love you and support you. And Grace and I both are very independent, very strong-willed people, and it's difficult to let people love you.
Right.
What in your whole life you've been like, no, I can do it. I got it. and so it's
love you or help you.
Yeah,
That's
love
where
you or help you. Yeah, support you. Yes, love you or even support you. And so I'm learning to let people love me and support me and just be there for me. I don't have to suffer.
Yeah.
You know,
you don't have to do it all on your own.
You don't have to. You can let people love you, and people want to love you. So
I love that. And to just add another little nugget of something that you do that I really like is your self-love list. You write it on your bathroom door.
I wrote it on so I have a glass shower stall. And so I write it in Expo on my glass shower stall.
Because she noticed that like where you have the most negative self-talk is in the bathroom, which would be the same for me too, for many people.
I'm sure.
So I think that's really cool. Put it in a place that is actually, you're going to actually
see it
and it's going to be useful.
And like counteract that negative self-talk.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right. My first one, I'm going to start with this one. So when I was making my list, I kind of was looking at different age brackets that I wish I could go back and talk to, my 6-year-old self and then my 13-year-old self, that kind of thing. So this is my youngest one.
Okay.
So I wish I could talk to like me as a little girl and tell myself that facing fears makes life so much more fun. I was such a fearful child, and I know we talked about that just last night. You were too. And I finally got over it. There was literally like one day in my life when I was 14 years old, I like conquered so many fears, and then I became not fearless, because nobody's fearless, but like I realized that it's super fun to face fears. But my whole childhood, I was just petrified to do anything and everything. And I know I missed out on really, really fun opportunities and just tapping into the Enneagram just a tiny bit. I'm an Enneagram 7, and they kind of are risk takers, and they like to enjoy life. And so when you do like the childhood work on Enneagram 7, sometimes I don't really relate to that, because I was so scared. If I had let myself be my true brave self as a kid, I think I would relate a lot more to the childhood 7. So once I learned to face fears, that's why I was able to do cool things like move to another country on the other side of the world by myself, or go scuba diving and skydiving and all that kind of stuff, which is such like a highlight of my life, doing those things. But I wish I would have started that earlier in life.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I can see that. The fears were different between us. Right. You know, I feared trying a lot of new things like food and, you know, those kinds of things. And Grace feared balloons. so
balloons are still of the devil. I'm not talking about balloons.
But I just, it doesn't matter what the fear is. Yeah. Because even as a kid, if I was more brave to try new foods, I would have enjoyed so many types of food. I'm not a picky eater now. I enjoy a lot of different foods now. And I've faced that fear, and I'm like, I can enjoy the full like spectrum of food, you know, and so any fear you have, just if you face it.
Bringing that up, like even the balloons. There were a couple birthday parties I did not go to as a child because I knew they were going to have balloons. Oh, gosh. And like I didn't go to sleepovers because I was so homesick, and I didn't do roller coasters and that kind of thing. So yeah, like it could have. I know that I missed out on some fun stuff as a kid because I was so scared. So
and that's okay if you're scared. It's okay.
Yeah, it is okay.
It's just maybe you do face the fear.
Yeah,
and see what happens. That's a good one. Okay, another thing that I wish that I could tell myself, younger self, is you are already complete and whole and worthy. You know, there's nothing in this world that you're missing out on at all. That includes a husband, family, house, job, anything. You know, like you're already complete. There's nothing that's going to make you more complete. And that's one of the biggest struggles I've ever had is feeling like I'm not worthy of good things. And, you know, that probably stems from all sorts of things, you know, and like there's different memories I can pinpoint where I feel like I was told I don't deserve that, you know, and being a woman in our society and a young girl in our society and growing up in church, not that church is bad by any means, but there are messages that we've heard in church of like, well, you're not really complete until you get a husband. You know, like you can't like necessarily serve the kingdom of God to the fullest potential if you don't have a partner.
And that's the ultimate of everything.
Right. It's what you were designed to be, a wife and la la la. Which I do desire those things, but I'm already a whole person. You know, I'm already a complete person. And having those things is not going to make me complete. And so I feel like it's such a valuable like lesson, you know, like I have it on my wrist as my tattoo. It says worthy, because I want everybody to understand they're worthy.
That's really good. Well, I'll sort of jump off that for my next one. And this would have been kind of what I would have told my whole 20s self. And we also just talked about this the other day. And I don't mean this to be like an icky coming from a married woman to a single woman, but enjoy your single years, which I think that I did for the most part. Right. But I had the same exact messages that she's just talking about, that like, you know, you're waiting for your life to begin once you get married. And I am so happily married. I love my husband. I love being a mom. I love all that. But I do, as a single person, you do hear that message so much. It's like, enjoy your single your single time. And it just seems so patronizing when you hear it.
It does.
But I actually understand why it's said now. I do. I get it. Again, I love being married and being a mom. I don't regret that in the slightest. No. But you do give up so much of your independence, of your spontaneity, of your dreams. You do give those things up. You trade them for other wonderful, beautiful things. But like I was saying, I haven't read a book in like 2 years because I just haven't had time, or I'm too exhausted or whatever. And that was something that I did so much when I was single or even newly married. But you know, those are things that I don't have much time for myself. I don't really have a hobby. YouTube is really my hobby. But I barely have time to do this, which is why I forget to upload sometimes. And so I wish I could go back to myself as like 26, 27 and be like, really do the things you want to do. Spend the money that you want to spend on travel and things like that, because you're not going to have as much time.
Right. Don't sit around just pining. Waiting for your love to arrive at the door. That's not, most likely, it's like, that happens in fairy tales.
Yeah.
It does not happen in real life.
No.
I've tried. But no, it's just, you just want to go out and live your life. I have fully, because I'm still single, I fully have, I live my life.
Yeah, she does.
You know, and I do all the things that I really want to do. I've enjoyed my 20s and my early 30s of like just a single person.
Yeah.
And there's so much like value in like being able to go visit people. And like I have cats at home. I don't have anything else but cats, and I love them, but I'm able to travel a lot. I'm able to see people. I'm able to spend extended time with people, really pour into relationships because I am single. And so,
she's amazing at her career. She's got promoted. She's on her second house that she's owned. Like, that is unheard of for people our age. And she makes good money, and then you can use your money to, do cool things. So like, that is so neat. And that's not something that I have in my life at this point, which is fine because I have other things. But
it's different.
You are doing what I've just said. You are enjoying
life, not pining after some long lost love. So next, and this is something that Grace and I have talked extensively about, but I'm going to add a category. Okay, so there are different types of friends, and they don't all fill the same role. I wish I could tell my younger self that. Because friend breakups and friend relationships are as equally complicated as a romantic relationship.
Absolutely.
They are not worth any less than a romantic relationship. They take the same amount of work, the same amount of intentionality, and they can fill a deep need that you have, a role. But with that, you have to understand the different types of friendship, the different, types of relationships that you can have. And so I myself have a philosophy on the different types of friends. I feel like there are 3 main types of different friends, and then I'm going to add one little bonus one. So we've talked about this before, but I feel like there are proximity friends, and all of these are valid and okay. None of them are bad. And that's something I had to learn, is like, the proximity friend is not a bad friend. You just have to understand they are the proximity friend, and you can't expect more than the proximity friend. So your proximity friend is your physically close to you friend. Like, they're probably your work friend that you see every day, and they're just physically in your space. But once you are not physically close to them anymore, that friendship usually goes away. Because they are your proximity friend. They're close because you are physically close. And that is okay. I struggled with proximity friends for a long time because I just felt like everybody should have a deep, meaningful relationship. and that's not the case. Sometimes you're only close because you're physically close. So that's a proximity friend. There are service level friends who maybe they're not just proximity, but you have a good friend, but all they want to do is watch a movie. They don't actually want to have a deep conversation. I think that's fine. I think they serve a role of somebody who's light and easy to be around, and you can have fun with them. But
bring fun and joy.
Right. But you don't have to have this deep, close personal connection with them. They're just a service level friend. That was also really hard for me. And then we have our deep friends, who are the people who are in our lives, who we talk about the deep stuff we're going through and the challenges and difficulties that we're facing. And I cherish the deep friends. That's always what I like strive for. But I've had to learn not everybody is the deep friend.
Yeah.
And that is okay. And then last, my little bonus one is there are seasonal friends. There are friends who could be any one of those three. They could be a proximity, a surface, or a deep friend, but they're seasonal. They are not there forever.
Yeah.
You know, and I've had deep friends who are seasonal, and we were good and close at that time.
Yep.
And then a season, you know, like in your life shifted or changed, and they're just not in your life anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
And just having to be a seasonal friend. That's really difficult. I want deep friends, only deep friends. And like, that's really hard, and not everybody feels the same role.
Yeah.
That's something I really wish I could tell my younger self.
Yeah. We knew we were going to have some overlap. So I'll go to mine that is very, very similar. And this is what you taught me, is basically what you just said, is that some friendships are temporary. I was a military kid, and then I lived very nomadically as in my 20s. And so I have friends literally all over the world, which is wonderful. But I can only keep up with most of them over Facebook or texting or whatever. And so for so long, I cleaved to these friendships. And again, I thought these people were they were super important to me, but they had like their deep friendships from their hometown that they had lived their whole life.
Right.
Where I was just a stopover there for 3 years.
Right.
And so it's really okay for friendships to fizzle out. And again, friendship breakups themselves are so painful.
And they hurt.
They hurt.
They're valid, and they're emotional.
Yeah. But I don't think of a friendship fizzling out because you've gotten older, or you've moved proximity, you know. I don't think that's necessarily a friendship breakup. That's just life changes and you change. So friendships are temporary. And even if you do have a friendship breakup, that's also okay. That doesn't invalidate the friendship that you had before. But sometimes friendships die.
They end for whatever reason.
Yeah. My mom often says that friends are there for a season, for a reason, or for a lifetime. And so some of my friendships that have either fizzled or have broken up, I can kind of see, okay, they were there for a reason. Or they were there for that season because I really needed them, and vice versa.
Right.
So
yeah, I 100% agree with that. My next one is that things are not always what they appear to be. I live in a lot of black and white spaces. Things are usually pretty black and white to me. And so I take people at their word for face value for the most part. And I don't tend to assume that somebody's not telling me the truth or they're not who they actually appear to be, or not even people, just situations.
Right.
So you will learn very important life lessons from people who change. They may start one way and then over the course of a friendship end up being different. And not what you expected to be. And so some things are not always what they appear to be. Or sometimes your dream job isn't a dream. And I have this, like, I don't know. I like my job. I love my job. My dream job, my current dream job is not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about in the past, I've had some jobs what I thought I wanted. And it turned out I was miserable. It wasn't what I wanted. And I learned a very valuable lesson from that. Of like, it wasn't what I thought it was going to be. And I had to go through a whole year of just being unhappy to know this is not what I want to do ever again. And so I'm grateful I did the experience so that I knew, but just know that not everything is what it seems to be.
That's good. Okay, my next one should be very quick because I've already made 2 videos about this subject in the last few weeks, and that I wish I could go back and shake myself as like an early 20s, and that is to learn to budget. I am just kind of starting to learn to budget now. By my mom's like chagrin, she's tried to teach me to budget all these years, and I've taken some principles, but like I would probably have been able to save a significant amount more if I had just budgeted. I'm not a wild spender, but if I had just budgeted all of my 20s, and once I got married, me and my husband really budgeted, I'm sure we saved some money. Don't get me wrong. By now. Yeah, we would be billionaires. But no, I just wish I had taken that more seriously, because we're doing it now and we're fine. We're not destitute, but as we live with our parents. But I just wish I had learned that skill and taken it more seriously. But it was just so boring, and I hate math and all that kind of stuff.
I am all the opposite.
Yeah.
I have budgeted for most of my life.
Yeah.
And I really enjoy it, and I like it a lot. And it's like just a guiding principle for me. But I am not by any means wealthy. I'm not by any means, like, I have made mistakes. I have bought things I shouldn't have bought, and because I was young, and then that's okay. Yeah. I learned, you did the best that you could at the time. That's something that we have been saying to ourselves a lot when we feel that regret or shame. It's just like, you've done the best that you could at the time. Yes. And so, and that's okay. Okay, my last one is follow your gut more. I am a thinker, and following my gut has terrified me, because I want to think around every little bit of a situation and play out every scenario and play out everything that I think could happen, because if I'm prepared, then I can't be disappointed. And if you follow your gut, you can't do that. You are just out there living life. Yeah. And it's just like, you're going to get disappointed if you just go and just do things. And I don't like feeling disappointed. I don't. But I'm trying to follow my gut more. I'm trying to think past all the things in my head, the barriers that I have in my head of oh, this happened in the past. You didn't like that. Let's not do that. Or it could be different this time, you know? So your intuition is a powerful tool and can lead you in the right direction. So you need to learn how to do things from your gut. And this is something my therapist has told me, you should follow your gut more and see what your gut's telling you to do. Before you could think about, she said, and honestly, all she said is, I want to give you permission just to explore what your gut says. You don't have to do what your gut says. Yeah. Just explore it and see what happens. And she was like, you can think about it, but also just see what your gut's telling you. And I was like, oh, I've ignored my gut forever. So that's a new thing for me, is exploring my gut. And I wish I had learned that a long time ago. Yeah. I feel like I would have had a lot more fun and a lot more I don't know, it would have saved me a lot of headaches. Yeah. If I was just I'm gonna just do what my gut says. Yeah. Well, I think I can learn from that, because I think as I've gotten older, I'm becoming more of the overthinker. I think in my 20s, I did follow my gut. That's why I had the nerve to do some of the things that I did. A lot of people would talk themselves out of moving to Indonesia by themselves. But I just was like, no, it sounds good. Let's do it. And I just didn't overthink it. But now I think I do overthink. Yeah. Yeah. So I should learn to tap back into that. Oh, look at that. It's me on her phone. Easily distracted by herself. All right, my last one. Yeah. Oh, this one was hard to learn, but I did. And that is, and I'm still sort of learning it. It's okay for your dreams to change. Yes. Yes. Because I can think back to, slight backstory. When I was 13, I started to get into theater, and all throughout high school, I love acting so much. And I knew I wanted to study acting at college, which I did. I graduated, I moved out to Los Angeles and pursued it for a few years. And obviously, I didn't make it. Here I am on YouTube. But there was a moment where I can almost pinpoint exactly where I was. This is the only time in my entire life I've been let go from a job. Really? And it wasn't because I wasn't good at my job, but
it's a whole thing. And I'm still salty about it. But the guy that was now in charge, I think he thought I was too quiet. So he had hired some other people that I think were more outgoing and bubbly. And so
Which is so surprising to me, because you are very outgoing and bubbly.
Well, I wasn't really back then.
Oh, okay.
So anyway, I was in Universal Studios in Burbank, California. And he called me and he said that they were restructuring, and so he was letting me go. And it wasn't completely surprising, and I already was planning to leave that job anyway. But anyway, I ended the phone call, and I stood there, and I was like, I've never been let go from a job before. And I was like, what do I do now? And I thought to myself, what I really want to do is travel. Ooh. I didn't think what I really want to do is be an actress. But I had such a conflict because acting had been my dream for so long. Yeah. And I felt like such a failure to transition to a different dream. Because I just thought I failed, which maybe I did, but that's okay. And then I started taking steps towards, because Los Angeles is so expensive, and like all of my money was going to rent and things like that. And so I could never travel in that current life that I was living. And so I took steps that I could get this teaching certification so I could move abroad and a school would pay me and blah, 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 which that's what ended up happening. And I'm so happy. But that was a really hard lesson that it's okay if your dreams change. And I'm still learning that now, because now that I'm a wife and mom, and as I said earlier, I don't have as much time for my previous dreams. Right. But I have a new dream, and that is to be a stay-at-home mom, and I really want to be a homeschool mom and things like that. And we were talking about this, once we get in our house, I want to be able to become a better cook. And that's okay that my dreams have kind of shifted. Yeah. So, absolutely. But I wish I could just tell myself, don't beat yourself up. Don't feel bad if dreams change.
I love that. And I had my dream job, but if you had told me what my dream job was going to be when I was younger, I'd be like, nope, I don't think you're right. But that's the thing is I'm a teacher, and I have loved teaching. I knew I was going to be a teacher from a young age, and that has been my dream. And then this opportunity came up where I could teach dyslexia, and I was it wasn't even something on my path that I ever thought I would ever do. But I have the best job in the whole school. And I'm not exaggerating when I say that. And I feel like people look at me and see how happy I am. And they've asked me, how did you become this? And I'm like, it just fell in my lap. and it's wonderful. But my dream has shifted, and I didn't realize this would be my dream job. I had no clue. And so that's awesome. And it's okay. And sometimes things just fall in your lap. Yeah. And follow your gut and just do it. Yeah. So a younger version of me probably would have been really scared to do that. Yeah.
So I think that was our list of 10 things. I hope you guys gleaned some things. And if you have anything that you would tell your younger self, go ahead and comment that down below, and we can all help each other out. Or if you learned some of these hard lessons yourself, let's start a discussion in the comments below. And so thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you to my lovely friend Bethany, who is so wise. You teach me things all the time.
Well, Grace is just a lot of fun, so that's all we do.
And one thing she taught me just the other day was if you're getting wedgies, it's because your underwear is too big. I didn't know that. So
you're too open on your channel, in my opinion.
Well, I think the people deserve to know, because I didn't know that. I've just been having underwear that's too big, apparently. So there, you got actually 11 nuggets of wisdom because of that one.
Yeah, so we should go before we tell anything else.
That's true. Okay.
Too personal.
Bye.